So we've been getting a ton of more news to do with the MCU Spider-Man 4. Again, in the previous video I talked about a couple of the conflicting reports that did say that Marvel and Sony had their different opinions on how this movie should potentially go. I believe Sony got more of their way with No Way Home, where they really wanted Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield involved, I do believe. This fourth movie, I believe they wanted to do a bit more of a multiverse type thing, considering how successful the last one was. We heard a lot of theories that that's the direction this movie could have been going, and then we heard the theories that this could be a straight level type of movie, and that was, I think, more of Marvel's input, which is pretty funny considering this movie is taking place in the multiverse saga. So you'd think they do more multiverse stuff, but they're not, which I'm actually happy with, but whatever. Anyway, there's a new report coming out saying that Spider-Man 4 has been described as a street-level Civil War film. According to multiple insiders, Marvel's Spider-Man 4 has been described as a street-level Civil War. Marvel Studios reportedly wants to feature Daredevil and some street-level heroes in the film, such as AntMan, Echo, Kate Bishop, and Jessica Jones. Now, what's interesting about this report is it's actually in very much relation to the other report that we saw the other day, which did actually suggest that Ant-Man and Daredevil would be official locks to be in this movie, and Daredevil would have quite a big role in the new Spider-Man MCU movie. And again, I think this is a really good idea to have Daredevil in the movie, because in my opinion, if it was up to me, I would most likely just have Spider-Man, right? I believe when Spider-Man is at his best, shout out Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2, which I believe, and I think most people believe, are still the best Spider-Man movies of all time. When we look at those movies, Spider-Man is on his own. It's him versus a really good villain. There's a great story involved, and I think that's when Spider-Man's at his best. Unfortunately, with Homecoming, although it worked, in my opinion, a lot of people don't agree, but I really like the Tony Stark dynamic in that. Unfortunately, in Far From Home, there was a lot of Tony Stark. There was Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. There was still the Avengers stuff. All of that, right? Again, you continue to go on with this. The No Way Home movie had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, Doctor Strange, all of Tobey's and Andrew's villains. This one, I would have really liked it to be by himself, but again, in saying that, it is the MCU, and it would feel weird not to at least have one Marvel character. And if they're going to do anyone, Daredevil, in my opinion, makes a ton of sense, and I think this is actually a really good idea, because Daredevil and Spider-Man feature with each other a lot in the comics, especially considering they are such a street-level type of crime. And I think this is a really good idea, and it plays into the theory that I have. For those of you who didn't see, I made a video about a year ago talking about how I would make the MCU Spider-Man 4, and essentially I would have Kingpin as the main bad guy, and essentially Spider-Man would be, attacking Kingpin's men and all this type of stuff, and Kingpin would be losing out on a ton of money, so he would hire Black Cat and, of course, Scorpion, who was featured in the first movie in a cameo, to go and battle Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's when we get to see that awesome Black Cat and Spider-Man dynamic relationship. Daredevil would make a ton of sense because he is a Kingpin villain as well, and he's already dealt with Kingpin, and he can give Spider-Man a hand. And Daredevil is not the type of villain where it would take the spotlight away from Tom Holland's Spider-Man, now being much more matured and much more developed. The first trilogy was a high school trilogy where he was kind of carried by Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and the other Spider-Man. It felt like they still felt like the more prominent characters of the story. With this one, Daredevil's not the most prominent character out there, and Spider-Man is much more powerful, and I think will also be used as much more to his abilities, especially in this movie. So instead of Tom Holland's Spider-Man feeling like somewhat of a side character, which he can sometimes feel like in his own movies, and that's been a major complaint by a ton of people, he will be the main character, and you'll have Daredevil as a side. Ant-Man weirds me out. I don't know why they are putting Ant-Man in this. Again, I'm not going to complain that much because I still feel like Ant-Man somewhat needs to be redeemed after his terrible last movie. And look, if it's just a little cameo or maybe 5 minutes of screen time or whatever, I don't mind that. Look, maybe Peter looks for help from Ant-Man because Ant-Man, obviously, we know he used to be a criminal himself and he probably knows how some of this street crime works. Maybe he looks out and gets him, potentially some help from him. That could be a cool, fun idea. Again, the rumor has it is as well, is Marvel actually require in the Sony contract to feature one MCU character in each movie. So that's where the Daredevil one comes in. But I think what's being argued by Marvel is here, because Sony really want Daredevil, it looks like, is to them, Daredevil's more to them like a Netflix character than the MCU character. They're still trying to transition him into being that MCU character. He will be getting his own TV show, this and that, but they're probably like, we want an actual notable MCU character that's been in the MCU for a minute now. Ant-Man. Whatever, as long as it's not over dramatic. Kate Bishop, Echo, please no. We don't need any of those characters in, man. Look, maybe if they were fighting with Daredevil in one scene or something, okay. But I don't need... Look, I love Haley Steinfeld and I could give her beautiful children if she really wanted to. Look, the beauty will come more from her side than probably mine. But I just don't think she's needed to be in this Spider-Man movie. Yeah. Look, I don't know. I don't really agree with it, but it's pretty interesting to see. I'm just so happy this movie is going to be a street-level movie where looks like we're going to be getting to see Peter against Kingpin. He's going to be... Hopefully, if he's going against Kingpin, he's probably going against the Scorpion, which is rumored, and obviously my theory as well. And then the less rumored, but my theory, I think it'd be amazing to have Black Cat get hired by Kingpin, and then really, in typical Black Cat fashion, she's in it for her own gain. She falls in love with Spider-Man. Spider-Man falls in love with her, but she doesn't care about Peter Parker, really. Just like how it is in the comics. And I think this would make sense, considering Peter, aka Spidey, does not know anyone anymore. No one knows him. Again, his existence is really, like, unknown. He's very, like, in the most depressive state he could probably be in. He probably wants to be Spider-Man way more than Peter. To have that, the Black Cat feed more into his Spider-Man obsession would just make a ton of sense in my opinion. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Are you guys excited that this is going to be a street level movie? What do you think about Daredevil and potentially Ant-Man all featuring in this? I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my sports channel and my IRL/vlog channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.